Today we'll be talking about ionic bonding. In this example, it's sodium bonded with chlorine to form sodium chloride, also known as salt. And the way it forms is ionic bonding works. That's different than covalent bonding is instead of a sharing of electrons, it's a transfer of electrons. And this occurs because sodium has low electronegativity and chlorine has high electronegativity. And because chlorine's so much higher electronegativity than sodium is, it strips away the electron. The electron is transferred from sodium to chlorine. Something happens between the two atoms. So for sodium, oxidation happens, and that is the removal of electron and giving off an electron. And for chlorine, what happens is it takes an electron. It's reduced, or reduction happens, and it takes an electron. Now, the plus one and minus one have to do with the charges of either atom. So when they're an atom by themselves, they're usually stable and they usually have a charge of 0 because they have the same amount of protons as electrons, because protons have a positive charge, electrons have a negative charge, and neutrons have no charge. But in the case of sodium, it has one less electron than it used to have, so that means it has a positive one charge. On the opposite case, chlorine has one more electron than has protons, and so it has a negative one charge. Both atoms now are an ion because they have a charge that's not neutral at this point, and what actually occurs is that because they both have opposite charges of each other, they get attracted to each other, and that helps and causes the bonding to happen. The crystal lattice is the structure ionic bonds occur and happen when you have a lot of them occur at once, and usually you have multiples occurring because you don't have just two atoms bonding to each other. You usually have like a couple thousand atoms bonding to each other at any given moment. So and each atom, depending on its charge, once it gets surrounded by the opposite charged atoms. And if you look at let's say chlorine, the big blue one, if you look around it, it's surrounded by sodium because sodium is the opposite charge than chlorine. How does ionic bonding occur? First off, sodium and chlorine have a large difference in electronegativity. Like I said, for covalent bonding, you need a small difference. For ionic bonding, you need a big enough difference where the highly electronegative atom will strip or transfer electrons to itself to complete the row of 8 and complete its valence electron shell. The second thing you need is a transfer of electrons, which I just stated. And then what usually occurs between metals and nonmetals. So in this case, it's sodium, which is a metal, and chlorine, which is a nonmetal.